Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Ganking Gamers Presents, a perfectly incompetent walkthrough of Faster Than Light, or FTL for short. I am your humble host, Chaos. And now, let me answer your first question. Why is this game on Perfectly Incompetent Walkthroughs? The very simple answer is, it is brutally hard. Now, I will get more into that as we go on, but I think it's time we actually started getting into this game. Now, we're going to do a new game. Now, I have played this game before in P.I.W, in Perfectly Incompetent Walkthroughs, standards. We have to make sure it is both hard and good. So, I'll just show you what I've got unlocked. First, we've got your default ship, the Kestrel. Then we've got the Taurus, Type A and Type B. We've got the Osprey, Type A and Type B. Then we've got the cruiser for this. Then we've got this cruiser. And those are all the ships I have unlocked. Now, we will be playing through all of them, as well as all the other ships that I unlock throughout this. Now, I'm not promising a run-through of all the ships, as I simply don't have the time to make sure I get that done. But, we will be doing the best we can. I can also promise you a lot of deaths and a lot of outtakes. So, first, we're going to go over the basic design of each ship and what that means. Well, of the ship we're using, per se. So for the first ship, we're going to be using the Kestrel. So basically, these are the systems that you will use, that I'm mousing over now. You have, at the front, right here, piloting. Now, piloting is exactly like it sounds. It's what gives you the ability to both jump, and it gives you an evade bonus to dodge incoming enemy fire. Over here, you've got door controls, which allows you to operate all of your doors. This is really useful for dealing with fire, and you'll see that later, because your ship almost always catches on fire. Then you've got your cameras, which allow you to see the ship, as well as, if you get them upgraded, see the enemy ship. The med bay for healing your units, the shields for keeping from getting shot in the face, weapons for shooting, oxygen, which if it goes down you will die horrifically, and then your engines, which also give you an evade bonus. Now, here are your crew. We'll deal with them more later. You may also notice up here, and this is the important thing for a perfectly incompetent walkthrough, the two settings, easy and normal. Now, you may think it's a little odd that normal is the highest mode, being acceptable for a Let's Play that makes its name playing on the highest difficulty settings. But with this game, it is totally permissible, and you'll see why. So, with that in hand, let's do a quick naming of all of our things. We will do the USS Ganking. Well, we can't fit that, so we'll just call it the Ganking Gamer. Now, we name our crew. Of course, we have to be the captain, as Chaos. Then we've got my lovely editor and programmer, the Code Ninja. And lastly, we have Captain Red Shirt. Well, this game just doesn't like me to have fun, so we'll just name him Red Shirt. Now, with that important bit done, let's get into this game so you can start seeing just why I love it so much. So, the basic plot is, you're a Federation ship, You're running from the rebels, and you have to get this data to your fleet, before the rebels catch up with you. Now, you do this by going through here. This is the beacon map that lets you get to all your different waypoints, which are basically different events that occur. And you have to go through those events and manage each thing that happens. Now, one thing I will say about this game is, it is a game of constant crisis management. You can die at any time. Even after you've beaten your enemy ships, when you encounter them, you can still die. It's really quite interesting, and really how you handle it, and the different random events that occur, really affect it. So, it's just a great game for that. So, let's start getting into this, but before we do that, silly me, we get the red shirt on weapons, we get our code ninja on shields, and of course I am the captain, because who else would you want piloting this suicide ship? Now, right here, you notice your power bars. These affect what systems you can have powered. If a ship is not powered, it will not work. Obviously. This is really important for managing your weapons, because weapons are vital to your survival. Now, let's start getting into it, and I'll show you just exactly what I mean. Now, we're going to skip the distress beacon, because that's really close to where the rebels approach, and you'll see their approach pretty soon. Okay, so this event offers to give us repairs on our hull, which is our life bar, in return for scrap, which is right here. Scrap is both your upgrade material and your currency in this game. However, we neither have much scrap, nor do we have any damage, so we're just going to ignore that event. Alright, popping on to the next beacon, and we have an event. See, it says that there is a large asteroid field. Now what this can do is cause hull damage, crew death, or give us some useful materials. Since we have a pretty full hull, and we're pretty sure we're not going to get a crew death this early, we're going to try and explore the asteroid field. And look, we actually get a good bit of stuff from the asteroid field. That is 3 missiles and 12 scrap. Now, let me talk about, as it brings up the missiles, let me talk about them real quick. These are your resources. Outside of just your basic scrap, you've got your fuel, and you cannot get to the next beacon without fuel. This involves the process of waiting. Waiting's really dangerous because it will cause the rebel fleet to begin to approach you. And it just gets really risky, especially as you risk running into pirates, rebel vessels, and all sorts of other things that'll jump on you. So you gotta keep an amount of fuel, otherwise you're dead in the water. Here are your missiles. Now there are specific types of weapons, like the Artemis here, that are powered off missiles. Now you still have to have power to use them, but they won't fire unless you have a missile to shoot. And finally, you have drone parts. Drone parts will allow you to release things called drones. There's numerous ones, from ones that shoot down missiles to ones that invade the enemy's ship, to ones that repair your own ship. However, we neither have a drone bay, which is what allows you to use drones, nor any drone parts, so you won't be able to see that mechanic at least for a little while. So, that out of the way, let's make another jump. So, first, let me tell you my course. I am swinging down and up through here, and I'm going to see if I can't hit some of these, but I don't know if I can, and you'll see why in just a little bit. Huh? Nope. It doesn't want to give me... Ah! Here we go. See this warning? This means that the Rebels' fleet is approaching. Now you'll get a thicker line, and that means that it's the Rebel fleet. Each jump, the Rebel fleet will approach up to this line. Maybe a little further. I haven't quite figured it out just yet. But if you get caught in the Rebel fleet, you will get hit by a very powerful ship that will at least do a lot of damage to you, and you will get almost no reward from it outside of having to jump away very quickly. So it's really something you don't want to do. So now we're going to jump to the next one. Okay. Well, I don't typically tend to use missiles on my playthrough. So, for this one, I am actually going to sell off all but one of my missiles. Just sell 10 missiles. And we get 30 scrap, which is very nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my scrap, and then binge buy, which is a thing I really like to do. It really lets you customize for what the roll of the dice, because this is a randomly generated game, what the roll of the dice gives you. Oh. Hey! And we've got our first rebel ship. So, we can either avoid the ship, which will mean that the event does not occur, or demand the surrender of their goods, which is what we're going to do because, well, we need combat. So, this introduces a few mechanics. Now, normally I won't pause, but because I want to do a quick breakdown of mechanics for you, I will. First of all, we have to charge our weapons and get them all set up. As you'll notice these little bars here. Every time those bars charge, our weapons will fire, but they won't fire before then. You can also notice on laser weapons, on the enemy ship, right here will charge, and that indicates when these will fire. So, we have to target each one of their systems. Their systems relate just like our systems do. So, if I knock out their weapon system, they will not be able to fire. If I knock out their shield system, they won't have shields. So on and so forth. Now the third thing that's come up is this. This does not happen in every fight, but what it means is that the enemy ship does not want to fight you, so it's trying to run away. Now you will have a set time limit before it says jump imminent, which will then give you around 5 seconds to either take out their engines, right here, or their navigation, or they will jump away. You will not get any rewards, you will not destroy their ship, and you will get nothing from it. And a lot of times, it will actually make the rebel fleet advance quicker, giving you less time to jump to beacons. So you want to take out their engines and their navigation as a priority. Now one of the cool things is that their FTL will not keep charging while their engines are down. Meaning that you can just stop it, and if it comes back on, you don't have to worry about them immediately jumping out. So, now that that little explanation is done, let's do a quick thing of combat. So with my lasers, I am going to target their weapons, and with my missiles, their engines. Now missiles have the cool effect of passing through shields. They just don't get affected by shields, whereas lasers do get affected by shields. Now, we're going to run over here. What happens when one of your systems turns red is that it means it's broken. So, you have to send in one of your crew to start repairing it. And you can see the repair rate right here. When that yellow bar is filled and it turns back to green, it has been repaired, and the icon will turn back to gray. Yellow means it's partially damaged. Ooh, I'm getting distracted talking. They're going to kill me soon if I don't pay attention. So, what we did there is we destroyed the enemy ship, and we got a nice little bit of loot for it. We got a drone, some scrap, a missile, and some fuel. So, when it's yellow, it means it's partially damaged, which means not all of the little bars have a damage counter over them. Basically, each power bar will get covered by a damage counter, and lower the amount of power that can be dedicated to that system. So, if your burst laser needs 2 power to use, and there are 2 damage bars on weapons, it means you can't use your weapons. So you're sitting there doing nothing but getting shot in the face. So that's basically how combat runs, is you repair systems that are damaged. Oh, and yes, your crew can get hurt by enemy fire, but you repair systems that get damaged, you patch up anything that happens, and you shoot the enemy ship. Pretty easy. Pretty simple, not easy. So, let's hop up into our next event. Oh! And we've got a special event, because this game wants you to know just exactly what's going on. So, here it says that we've got a virus. Now, you can notice here that we've got this little blue damage bar. Now, what this means is that something special has happened to our shields related to this event. Now, what this rebel ship did was gave us a virus. So now, we will have one less shield. Well, each of these shields costs 2 power bars and shields. Meaning, we're not going to have shields for this fight. Which is quite bad. So, we are going to go full force on its weapons. So that it can't hurt us. Crap. Now what you see here is something really bad that can happen, and that's your oxygen lighting on fire. So we have to send in a crew member to put that fire out before our oxygen gets too low. Now fire will hurt your crew, and you can put it out by venting oxygen into space. However, the issue with this is that when your oxygen is down, you don't replenish your oxygen, meaning that your crew will slowly start to suffocate. Oh dear. Your crew will slowly start to suffocate, and suffocating does cause damage consistently. It's one of the quickest ways to die in this game. They also knock down our healing bay, so our crew can't get any health. So you have to quickly get your oxygen repaired, and you have to put the fire out, because you can't just vent it out when your oxygen is on fire. When anything but your oxygen is on fire, just pop open these little bay doors that lead to space, and these little covered lines mean that there's no oxygen, and just vent the fire out. Just starve it, and you'll be good. For any time, but whenever your oxygen's on fire, you have to go in there and put your crew in danger. So it's really nasty. But, on the bright side, we've got our shields back! Yay! And now we're going to jump over to here, and then the exit. And now we've got... Oh! So we've got some pirates, chasing down a commercial vessel. Now this is the energy bomber. Now this one is special in that it is a Zoran ship, meaning that it starts out with this little energy shield. The energy shield does not regenerate like your normal shield does, but it's very hard and difficult to take care of. So, we're going to wail on that for a little bit. Now it's down, it stays down, but we also don't have any damage on their ship just yet because of it. So it's a pretty useful thing that they use. You can actually get the energy bomber and use it. It was one of the ships I showed you on the opening. So now we're going to target down. We've got their weapons down, so now we're targeting down their shields. Oh, and they're trying to run away. This is what's more likely to happen most of the times that an enemy ship tries to run away. It won't try and run away immediately. Normally you can tell if a ship's going to run away immediately by the event it's in. Like a lot of rebel traders will just try and start running away immediately. Or the scouts. So, just be aware that if once you get them down to real low, a lot of them will try and run. So, just as an FYI. So now we're going to jump over here to the exit. See if there's any event that pops up. Oh, and here's an event. So yeah, events can pop up while you're at the exit. So this little fella here, was attacking an outpost. Because he's not a very nice person. Well, automated drone, but I don't quibble with semantics. So we're going to take him out real quick. Relatively quickly. And again, this happens to me in a lot of my playthroughs. They will almost always knock out my oxygen. And it's really tough to get their oxygen to go down, but it's obscenely easy to get your oxygen to go down. So you'll end up suffocating out quite a few times. One last... Well, we've got to put a shot straight to the pilot's chair. That's how you finish off a ship. Boom! Alright, now that that's destroyed, we can salvage it and contact the outpost. Sometimes, when you save someone, it won't give you good stuff, but a lot of times it's worth it, unless you're really beat up, to go in and intervene, because you'll get a double load of, basically, loot, victory loot. Now, you can see we can skip to the next sector, which we will address next time, as we are out of time. In the vein of most pilots, this has been an extra long episode. Remember, this has been a perfectly incompetent walkthrough of Faster Than Light, the very first episode, in fact. Now, I want you to go out, have fun, and GG.